Where in England are you from?
It's quite a small town, so you probably won't have heard of it.
Where is it? I don't know. You're correct. I don't know. That accent is amazing. Do people comment and tell you it's amazing all the time?
Not when I'm at home, because everyone sounds the same.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I don't think I can say. Do you know her?
No,
Doesn't she have an awesome accent?
it sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, it's very impressive. So she asked us to, she was very hesitant when she sat down, but she came back later and said she didn't want the footage because she was concerned about her employment situation. I really liked her. I found her voice to be just wonderful. And it was so, I don't know, mellifluous. It was a little distracting to me. But I liked her, and I really liked her voice. But this is a good conversation. I really enjoyed it. I'm sorry we couldn't release the video with it. So how long are you here in LA?
I'm just visiting a friend, so I leave tomorrow.
You leave tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh my God, all the way back over there.
Back to England, back to London, yep.
Oh, are you excited about going home, or do you not want to go home?
Yeah, I am. I was starting a new job, so I'm excited to go.
Again, I keep saying this because it's so important. In the rapport building stage, you have to ask questions that you sincerely want to know the answers to. It's not bullshitting. It's not. You just ask. What are you thinking about, and then ask.
Start.
How have you liked the food here?
I feel like all I've eaten is pumpkin-flavoured things.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to throw up a pumpkin.
They don't have that on the island over there. The
We
pumpkin
do,
stuff?
but it's not as excessive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Well, all right, cool. So here's what we do. I have conversations with people about things nobody else wants to talk about. And you don't have to pick from this list, but it's better if you do. But you're certainly welcome to pick anything you want to pick. But is there something there that strikes your boat? And if it is, you read it to me and then flip it, and I'll talk to you for 5 minutes about it. I think the expression was floats your boat, not strikes your boat, or strikes your fancy. I mixed those up.
Okay. Should we always believe women who say they were raped? Okay.
What do you think?
It's a difficult one. Do you want to start?
No, you go. Do you think we should always believe women who say they were raped? So when someone says, do you want to go, you just say, no, you go. If she says, no, you go, or he says that, you just return it back to them. Now, there's a point at which that ends, but it's certainly not after the first one.
Oh, why did I pick that one?
Oh, you can pick another one if you want. You want to pick another one? Because that's a very difficult question. Okay, so this is very interesting. Why did I pick that one with a laugh? That was extremely interesting to me. So there's something else going on there. Or do you like that one? So you give them a choice. It's the whole Sun Tzu thing. People have to feel that they have choices, and those choices have to be legitimate. And then they're more likely to open up if they say, well, he said I could pick another one, but, I do want to stick with this one. So always give people another choice. And people should never feel trapped that they have to talk about something. Talk about anything anybody wants to talk about. What difference does it make?
I like that one because it was difficult, but it didn't mean I wanted to answer it.
Let's do that one.
Okay, you go. You start.
All right, I'll start. No, I don't think we should always believe women who say they were raped, because we know there are very specific examples of women who claim to have been raped who are not raped. Mm-hmm. And all you would really need is one. And since we have so many more than one at this point, then we should listen and sincerely listen, and then try to evaluate the truth or falsity of the claim. Mm-hmm. That's my belief. Okay, so that in that sense, she asked me again to start, and I may have pushed it back onto her, but because of what she said before, I decided to answer the question myself. I wanted her to feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I do think there's always more to the story. It's very easy for a woman, I think, to ruin a man's life by saying or accusing them of rape.
And some women actually are now claiming that's a good thing. And I did not want to provide any of them. I was thinking of Tawana Brawley and others. I did not want to provide specifics, both because maybe she's from the island and she didn't know those, and plus there was no point in talking about it at all. Anyway, all you need is one example. And the question was, always believe women who claim they were raped. Because if we do this to enough guys, there will be just collateral damage in this. and we'll be able to change the culture and dissuade men from, well, not only raping women, but any kind of sexual aggressivity, like being aggressive toward women. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that?
Oh, it's a difficult one. I mean, I don't really agree with that at all. Like, falsely accusing a man of rape or a woman of rape.
So it's interesting that the type of people who will sit down at the booth, I think, are more likely to be open to conversation almost by definition, and they're more likely, I think, to skew toward having certain beliefs.
What is your inclination for why we should always believe women who say they were raped?
Interesting. I think, I don't know, it's difficult.
It's the key there is to let her think it through and have that pregnant pause and not interrupt.
I just think if it was me in that situation, I'd want people to believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's affirmative. It affirms what she said. It also lets her know you're hearing.
So is it, you think that, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, I'm trying to figure this out. So you think that it would be very alienating and lonely if you had a horrible experience and everyone thought you were lying? Mm-hmm. I think that's true. So what do you think the best way to deal with that is?
It's the best way and probably the hardest way is just through open conversation.
Oh.
The other thing about this conversation was I didn't think using scales were appropriate in this case because it seemed that it was less that she was confident in her belief and more that she just wanted to think through what she believed, and I wanted to help her maybe be a sounding board to that. And so this was from chapter 6 or 7 synthesis, this idea that there's no facilitation of belief, revision, or doubt, but it's either synthesizing two different positions or to me, it felt very much like this was a conversation that was oriented toward truth.
I do think, I mean, I'm not generalizing, but I do think men and women probably falsely accuse other people of rape all the time.
That's yeah, it's very frequent. And we don't want to ruin the guy's life if it's falsely accused.
Yeah.
And we don't want women to be able to kind of weaponize an accusation against someone they don't like.
Yeah, I also used the "and" there. And I got the feeling that that was kind of a British thing to say, like to be concerned about ruining men's lives. I don't really hear that a lot. Maybe it's the circles in which I'm swimming, but I don't really hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And so the question would be, what should the default stance be? What should the default stance be? Listen and believe. And we started this when you asked me my opinion. I don't think it should be listen and believe. I think it should be listen and understand and then investigate.
Innocent until proven guilty,
Yeah,
I suppose.
I think that's right.
I like the fact that she came up with that on her own. It's correct that I wasn't thinking of that, but that's correct.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. So that made her think about things. That was good.
I don't know, it's difficult though because physically men are obviously a lot stronger than women, so if that's what they wanted, that's what they would get. And I think, I don't know, it's difficult. Why did I choose that one?
I don't know. Why did you choose that one?
I don't know.
Again, she said that again, and it's really interesting. I really did want to know why she chose that one.
It's probably because I don't know the answer, which is why.
Well, that's the best. Some of the best questions are the ones that you don't know the answer to, and you have someone try to help you think through them.
Well, that's the other thing that made me think that this conversation was oriented toward truth and should have been, as opposed to instilling doubt, even though she came off with a belief initially that she had one belief and she changed it at the end of the conversation.
What would be so the reason to believe all women would be that if you didn't believe a woman and she went through something horrible, it would be
Oh, this one's interesting,
grave.
but I didn't read see that one. Sorry.
All right, would you want to? But let's just wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, so she wanted to we hadn't finished yet, and she chose another topic, which possibly made me think there was cognitive dissonance or there was something else going on there. So again, remember, always oriented back to the topic.
So the reason for that would be you would want to think about it. You would want to believe her because you wouldn't want to feel horrible after she got raped. And the reason that you shouldn't is that you wouldn't want someone to think that he was falsely accused of something.
Correct.
So the wrapping it up too helps, especially at this point in the conversation. And in these situations, particularly truth, but also instilling doubt, you always want to give the most charitable interpretations of the other side possible, to steelman them. Not always, but almost always. There are exceptions to that.
So then bring it back to, so should we believe all women who say they've been raped would be what?
Notice how I repeated the topic, the question at the end of the conversation. That's important to do because it recenters once again the conversation, and then you can, or she can in her own mind compare her answer when she started to her answer when she finished.
I think you can't apply the same sort of, I don't know, you can't apply the same thing to every scenario. Every scenario is
Right.
different. You can't say, oh, we're going to say we're not going to believe all women for everyone.
Right. And when you sat down, you said you didn't know. Mm-hmm. And it's been 5 minutes almost exactly, and now do you know the answer to the question?
Yeah, I think so. It's just, you have to decide on the situation.
Thank you, appreciate that. That was really good. That was great.
you.
Thank you, I really like that. I wish you the best of luck on your trip tomorrow.
So there it was. It was a 5-minute conversation. She clarified what she believed. I think she was a lovely person. She was very sincere about engaging in the conversation and what she believed. And it was a really good feeling to help her think through some of those issues. And I felt from the conversation she didn't have a lot of, I don't know if I want to say baggage, but she seemed very earnest and very sincere to me. And I truly liked chatting with her. I thought she was a really, really lovely person. It was a great feeling when she said that she had worked those issues out. And again, all I did is ask questions and frame those questions, and she came in with the attitude that she really wanted to think through these issues, and I think that's what happened.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah. What do you do in London? I was in England. I was curious.
I just graduated from uni.
Okay, one more thing. The other reason that you don't ever want to ask somebody in the beginning of the conversation what they do, you want to ask, and this is from chapter 2 or 3, what not to do. The reason you don't is because sometimes people don't derive joy from that. So you'd want to say like, oh, what are your hobbies, or what do you do when you're not working? So that will open up and facilitate a conversation. You don't want to put someone in a work mode. But I really was curious as to what she did, but I saved the question until after the conversation.
So I'm starting a new job on Monday.
Oh, good. In what? What did you graduate in?
Politics.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your
Politics and
job going to
history.
be?
So I'm doing policy analysis for DSTL. It's like a body of the Ministry of Defence.
Wow.
So for like UK government.
Interesting. I haven't followed the Brexit thing at all.
Oh, neither have I. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. All right.
We all pretend we know what's going on, but
And I
no
don't
one
know
does.
why Americans are so utterly obsessed with your royalty. Like, I truly cannot figure it out. They're in all of our magazines.
Really?
Yeah, I can't. It's a total mystery to me.
That's funny.
So if you have any, I mean, truly, it's baffling to me. I mean, I could understand, like, if we had a royalty
Yeah.
and, like, people were following, but I can't understand, why would you follow somebody else's royalty? Anyway, thank you. I really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks. Reed, did you get one? Oh, you got one? All right, have a good trip back.